I'm Emily, and I made a mock apple pie from the Great Depression. It's just an apple pie without the apples in it. And mock apple pies actually date back to the 1800s, because they're the late 1800s, like 1880s, because during the wintertime when apples were scarce and dried apple stores were used up, home cooks would use things like soda crackers or stale bread. But this recipe that I'm using for the purpose of apples being expensive comes from the Great Depression time, so 1929 to 1941. So the modern Ritz cracker, the one that's in this pie, came about in the 1930s. Is the brand Nabisco, the National Biscuit Company. It wasn't the creator of the recipe, but because the crackers were the main ingredient, it just became part of the box. So the cracker rounds, crackers became a thing in 1934, and people instantly loved them. So by 1935, Nabisco sold 5 billion units of crackers. And then shortly after that, like not even a month after, the recipe for this apple pie showed up on the back of the box. So then the recipe came at the perfect time because apples were very expensive during the Great Depression, but the other ingredients like sugar, water, cream of tartar, cinnamon, and lemon weren't expensive at all. So then I did some research on apples during the Great Depression. And I learned that in September of 1930, people that were unemployed would purchase a 220 box of 88 apples that originally sold for $2.50. Then they would sell these apples, and at the end of the day, they would owe their supplier $1.75 to offset costs, and then they would keep whatever they made. The sellers did well in the beginning because when they bought the apples, the vendors gave them signs that said 5-cent apples. But many of the vendors made their own prices, which just made it worse. And it did get worse almost immediately when vendors were selling apples for 50 cents each instead of 5 cents or a dime or 25 cents. It just kept going up. And then because they were selling for 50 cents a day, they were making $16 a day, which is a lot of money at the time. So then, of course, as the prices from the vendor rose, prices of apple rose, and then people were just running out of money, which was even worse. So the sellers ended up making a penny an apple instead of 16 bucks at the end of the day after they paid back their vendor. So I made the apple pie, and my whole family's trying it, but Ben Stam is here to try it with me. Let me get my bite. Is this enough, Mr. McCartney? I hope it is.
Cheers.
Think it.
It's not bad at all.
I actually really like that. I don't know if it tastes like apple pie, but it tastes like lemon meringue. I have to put a lot of lemon in it.
I like it without the chunks.
That's good?
Yeah.
That's good? Rate it 10 out of 10.
Like 5 or 6.
Ouch. Bye.